Hello guys and welcome back to Planet 40k. So the balance update thing has happened, which was on the 12th of September. We've had a few changes, not many changes, mostly positive. There's one potentially negative, but I don't see it as a negative. We'll get into it. I'll go through all the changes that purely affect Necrons as a faction and give you my thoughts at the end of going through all those changes. So of course, if you have not subscribed, please do so down below, not to miss out on future content. Okay. Let's get into the changes then. Okay, so let's go through the point changes first. There's only two changes and both are good changes. They're both positive. The first one is the Silent King. The Silent King has gone down to 400 points, so down 20 points, so it was 420. 400 points flat, that's good. There's a reason for that change potentially, but I think he was always a 400 point model anyway. So I'm happy with that. 400 points. That's going to be nice for the Evasive Phalanx, that's going to be nice for the Star Shatter Arsenal, and any other detachment that you like to use the Silent King in. Good change, thumbs up from me. The second change, and the other only change, is the Triumph Praetorians. They've gone down in points by 10 points. That's for 5, or if you're taking 10 models, it's gone down 20 points. So they're now 90 or 180. I still think they're overpriced. I'm not going to be taking them. Personally, I don't use them. I just think they're a bit too jack of all trades, master of none. We've got other alternate units that can do all the different things they do. We've got better melee options if you want the melee. We've got better range options if you want the range. We've got better deep strike options if you want the deep strike. We've got better alternatives, but they can do all of them, I suppose. So some people will like to use them in that kind of list. So going down, what's that going to help? It's going to help the Evasive Phalanx again. That's the main one. You could argue the Hypercrypt Legion, but again, we've got better options, so I don't think we necessarily need it. But it's a nice change. They've gone in the right direction. They've gone down by 10 points. I don't think they could go down much further in honesty, even though I would like to see them go down. If they're going down anymore, they're kind of going towards Immortal level. And, you know, they're shooting, they're fighting, they've got Deep Strike. That should be a bit more pricey than Immortal. So I think maybe they just need to change their data card, maybe the ability or something. But for now, I'm okay with it. It's gone down. It's good direction. Next, we go into it's like the FAQs and errata. We only had one that was for Necrons, and that is to do with the Resurrection Orbs. So a unit cannot be affected by 2 Resurrection Orbs in the same turn. So the only way to do that obviously would be with an Overlord with an Orb, or a Locust Lord with an Orb, and then a Command Barge that was located nearby using his Orb. You can't be using them both in the same turn. I think I've done that once in my whole life, in honesty, in this edition rather. I've done it once and I wasn't sure at the time, and we couldn't see a reason to not do it, so I did it. But they've now confirmed you can't do it, so that's fine. I'm okay with it. Didn't come up that often, and yeah, cool, that's fine. We then had the balanced data slate itself, which was, where are we? We're on page 23 of that dossier, that PDF. We only had one change, and it's for the Silent King. Now this is the one where some people, the more competitive players, would probably see this as a huge nerf. I personally don't, because I'm not in the ultra competitive scene. I'm not going to GT tournaments. I'm not that kind of person or that kind of player. I'm also not on the other side of the spectrum. I'm not like a narrative player. I'm somewhere in between. So the ability, maybe we should talk about what's changed, then I can explain a little bit better what I'm talking about. So one of the Triarch abilities, the third one, which was the Bringer of Unity, it used to be able to basically allow units within 6 to ignore any modifiers. So any -1 to hit rolls, any -1 to damage, all that kind of stuff, you can ignore it, -1 to toughness and so on. Against certain factions or against the game as a whole, going into tournaments, it was a really useful tool to have when you got the Silent King around. Well, that ability is no longer a thing, and they've replaced the Bringer of Unity aura with a new ability, which is Relentless March aura. So what this is Necrons within 6 inches as an aura. You're going to give +2 to their movement. So we've kind of got the old edition Relentless March back as one of your strike ability options within the Silent King's datasheet. I'm okay with that, to be honest. I quite like that. I think it definitely jazzes up a lot of units in certain detachments. So I don't personally see it as a nerf. Maybe it's why the Silent King has gone a little bit cheaper, 400 points rather than the 420. I would see more use for the movement rather than the ignoring modifiers. But again, I have to keep saying this. I'm not going to GT tournaments, so I'm not the most ultra competitive player. Even though my the videos are tactical, but it kind of comes from my own experiences and opinions. At the end of the day, I'm not going and winning GTs. So final thoughts to these changes: Praetorians and the Silent King going down, plus a change to the Silent King's ability. That's going to give you a lot more use with the obeisance phalanx in particular. You've got, well, that, you know what, go back to that Silent King's ability. I've just thought of a few cool things that you could do with that movement aura. All of a sudden you can have Catans nearby going 8 inches. So now your Nightbringer's got a little bit more zip about him. And when we get that new model with the big base, it's going to be zipping around. You've got, what else we got that can go faster? Like imagine a unit of Immortals, 10 Immortals with an Overlord with the Translocation Shroud and a Chronomancer. You're now moving those Immortals 7 inches. You're then going to advance them another 6 inches, and it will be 6 because of the Translocation Overlord. You're then going to shoot with the Tesla. You're then going to move a further 5 inches with the Chronomancer. You're going to get actually 18 inches of movement and still firing, and your infantry, so you're moving through walls and terrain and stuff. That's quite nice. Scorpion Destroyers can now be moving 10 inches nearby the Silent King. That's quite nice. And imagine going to like the Star Shatter Arsenal, Doomsday Arcs. Doomsday Arcs now, you could potentially be moving 18 inches because they move 10, then add another 2 for the 12, and then you could advance them to 18. In fact, the Silent King himself, let's put this in an example here. Like the Silent King can now move, what was he moving? He was moving 8, that would make 10, advance to 16. There's a stratagem in the Star Shatter Arsenal to auto-advance 6, so that would be 16. There's another stratagem which is Dimensional Tunnel, where you can move through walls and terrain even though you're a vehicle. I know that's like a little bit silly and you're spending 2 CP, but imagine the look on your opponent's face when you've just moved the Silent King 18 inches through walls and terrain with Assault and you're still firing everything. I think that's kind of funny. I definitely like that. Yes, we've lost the ignore modifiers thing. Honestly, I don't mind. So all in all, the changes for Necrons with this balance update, I'm content with, I'm happy with. It could have been a lot worse. The Doomsday Arcs could have gone up to 220. Wraiths could have gone back up again. All sorts of things could have happened in a negative way. Not much has happened, but everything that has happened has been positive. So it's a thumbs up from me. You'll have to let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are. This is just my opinion, so give me some feedback. What do you think about these changes to Necrons for this balance update?